TWM podcast. Just would like to let you know that Indie Wrestling Show is brought to you in association with the Babyface app, available on the Google Store and the Apple Store. Now, what is the Babyface app? Well, if you're a British wrestling fan, it is the only thing that matters. Want to check out what the latest shows are in your area? The Babyface app can do that. Want to check out the win-loss record for your favourite wrestler at the moment? The Babyface app can do that. Do you want to bring back the glory that was the Origin Banter Edition? Sadly, Babyface haven't got that kind of sorted out yet. Imagine it's in the beta stage, I can be assured. But if you want to check out any of their matches from Progress or anywhere else past, you can check it out at the Babyface app. Also, you can read loads of articles from loads of esteemed wrestling personnel, including ourselves, TWM. You can check out all of our BritWres articles in one easy place. That is the Babyface app on the Google Play Store and Apple Store. Hello, I am Matty Deller and welcome to the Indie Wrestling Show, bringing you the world of graps that is at your doorstep, covering all things from the United Kingdom, Republic of Ireland in this case, USA and around the world. Hey, check us out on the Babyface app, why don't you? Available on Apple and the Google Play Store. It's also one of the homes of this very podcast as well. You can now check out the Indie Wrestling Show on the Babyface app, which is lovely. We are a part of TWM Podcast. You can check all of that out in all the usual places. Places like Google and Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Acast, TuneIn, Podbean, and wherever else you get your pods. Do you like things? I've got things for you. As a dog enters the room, we're live, pal. We're a part of SquaredCircleBox.com. Use the code TWM News, 10% off your first order in the checkout. That's the code TWM News at SquaredCircleBox.com. I'm not joking, by the way. My giant old dog Pluto just had a bath and proceeded to do a run-in on this very podcast and decided to run in and then be chased back out by my brother with a towel. That's how my life is currently right now. I've got three other people that are here to talk about the indie wrestles with me, starting off with a very happy but a very muffled Mike Mears.
I may be better now. I may be worse. Who knows?
Well, you sound fantastic, my friend. He's struggling with the technologies, but we all persevere through regardless. Joining us as well is Rhys Thomas.
A pleasure to be here and talk about my favourite thing in the world, indie wrestling.
And rounding off this quartet of independent wrestling conversation is Kyle James.
I've literally been here, there, and everywhere, and I'm here to chat the shit.
He is.
And that's just his sex life, ladies and gentlemen.
He is Mr. Worldwide. He's the pit bull of independent wrestling. Every time I talk to him now, I'm just going to shout the word Dale every time I ask him a question. But we have got lots to discuss. We have got TV. We have got shows we have been to across the UK and the Republic of Ireland. We have got pay-per-views and events to preview. We have got loads to discuss, so let's get into it. It might be the final show before Saturday Night Superfight, but we still in Mexico in a show that had a lot of swears. It was a sweary show. Sweary show confirmed.
Because Mexico.
Because Mexico. They loved the F-bomb. Jose Samuel opened it saying that Promociones Dorado were looking for another member to fight against them, as El Hijo de LA Park was injured last week in that Tijuana street fight, in air quotes. MLW champion Jacob Fatu says that his match with LA Park won't be a super fight. It will be I'm going to change it to make it more palatable. A ruddy massacre. So there's that to open it. Then we had the Heart Foundation going over Dragon Lee and Extreme Tiger. Little fun fact, in case you didn't know, Extreme Tiger is Tigre Uno, who's a former Impact X Division champion.
Yes, I did remember that.
Genuinely, when I saw him, that was my first thought. I was like, oh my god, it's Tigre Uno.
I looked at him and went, that his face not his face, his mask rings a bell.
Your mask looks familiar.
Yeah, your mask looks familiar.
Your outer face looks familiar.
The skin you wear over
my tattoos.
Yes,
when I see that green X Division title, he's immediately the guy I associate with that.
Oh yeah, I remember when the X Division title was green. That was a weird time as well. And Sonada had that belt.
Everything had a rebrand. It was odd.
Pillman mocks Dragon Lee to open, and the Hearts are de facto heels in this case. Lee,
again, cause Mexico.
Yeah. Lee and Tiger use quickness early until Davey Boy Smith suckers Tiger into belly-to-belly suplex, and the heels take over. Pillman and Davey Boy Smith work over Tiger and hit big power moves until Tiger hits an Enzuigiri and then does one of the weirdest moves I've seen. I've wrote it down as Extreme Tiger does a top rope whoopsie onto the groin of Brian Pillman, but that sounds oddly sexual, so take it for what you will. He does like a senton onto the balls.
Yeah, it's kind of a seated senton to a grounded opponent, as we see in like 2K like video games.
Can you do a senton on the dick? Apparently, Extreme Tiger can.
Drops on the guardrail, why not?
Pillman hits a penta driver for a 1 count on Dragon Lee. Lol.
Wrong brother.
Yeah, but either way, it was a subtle fuck you to everyone.
Fuck you, CMLL.
Big knee near fall, tags, and Lee rocks Davey Boy Smith with some kicks for a near fall. Tiger dives, Pillman moves, and Dragon Lee eats it. I'm annoyed. I usually really like Rich Bikini on commentary, but he goes, "Oh, look at this." Davey Boy hoists him up and they do a clothesline, and he goes, "Oh, look at this modified double team springboard clothesline. You moron, it was the fucking heart attack mixed with the air Pillman. How do you not make that reference when you're watching the Ruddy Heart Foundation?" Cretin. Absolute cretin.
Surprisingly, it shows how much maybe the Cornette and Shivani keep him on the right track.
Then
AJ Kirsch isn't going to do that.
Yeah, AJ Kirsch. I know he was the voice of one of the 2K guys. I need to remember which one it is.
Buzz. Was
it Buzz? Oh, it is Buzz. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Oddly enough, Cole Quinn was the Saudi guy Mansoor.
Yeah, I knew one of them was we use his proper name here, Manny Fabarino, star of New Legacy Inc. Shout out to the boys. And yeah, I know one of them was Manny. I didn't know the other one was, because they kept mentioning Eli Everfly, and I feel like he may have been a voice on one of the others, but I can't think. I know they do get indie guys in, because Austin Aries was once a voice on those games. Anyway, enough of buggy video games. Let's talk about this wrestling. Bestia CCC has been added to the Stairway to Hell match at Superfight, so now it's a 3-way because Jimmy Havoc beat up his dad. Fair enough. Celia De La Renta says that she is the law. She's the big boss man, and the constant in MLW, and she says that Promociones Dorado are taking back the MLW World title, and regarding the war between them and Contra, this shit is on, and she says that LA Park will hang Fatu from the phone wires outside Cicero Stadium. I'm not sure whether that means he'll kill him, or he's just going to really annoy him by hanging him by his shoelaces off the phone.
He might just steal his shoes and just tie them together and stick them over the shoes.
Impossible. Fatu doesn't wear shoes.
He must at some point.
All I'm imagining is everyone leaving Cicero Stadium and just seeing Jacob Fatu crying, and he's like, "Oh, Simon Gotch is going to kill me. He took my shoes back. Come on, guys." Being bullied by a skeleton. Then LA Park cuts a promo saying that he's going to break their fucking faces. Fair enough. Then we get another bit of lifestyles of the Richard Dynastic. They're still celebrating being back in the USA, and Holiday is rubbing disinfectant with his hand before putting on his Louis Vuitton AirPods back in, because they were just in Mexico, of course. Hammerstone
means the AirPods will probably knock off.
Hammerstone and MJF were having a drink and talking about how Hammerstone may have brought back his Mexican pharmacy purchases with him. Others like, "You didn't bring any of that back, did you?" He's like, "Well, whether I did or whether I didn't, we're all here and no one's in jail."
Well, he looked like he smoked half of it before the promo was recorded.
They propose a toast to winning in America in the Dynasty. Sorry, Mike.
See, I was just going to say, is it just me, or they don't mean... They mean it's steroids?
They literally do, yeah. This is the Mexican pharmacy thing, isn't it? Because that's the time they do have to take a piss. If this ended with them saying that Alexander Hammerstone's a massive stoner, then this is a huge bait and switch. The Von Erichs then had a message in response to the Dynasty. They questioned their partying and said, "You're going to have a super fight hangover once we're done with you next week." Generic, and also sounded a bit Canadian, which was odd. Then we get a H2 TV thing of the Hart Foundation at a Mexican meet and greet, where apparently these meet and greets for the Crash, they had just a ring set up that the kids can get into.
Yeah.
Why can't we have that?
Loving life, didn't they?
Yeah, why can't we have that? That's bullshit.
Well, do you remember the last time fans got in the ring in Brit Rest? The Riptide ring broke.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, don't remind me of that.
Oh, yeah, Victoria broke the Riptide ring.
I
did find it funny. I did find it funny on this where Davey Boy was legit just calling out Teddy for not being on the Mexican loop, probably for some legal reasons.
He's saying you're not allowed in it. Triple A is still after you when you.
There are some nasty drug dealers after you.
Someone's got to look after Quagmire Ribs while he's gone.
Oh, this is true. Yeah, someone's got to look after the family business. Aries set up a GoFundMe to pay his 10k fine from MLW because he's homeless,
and because he eats so many bananas, I guess.
Terror Azteca,
a bitter bitch.
that as well, and Proximo defeated Torito Negro and Toto. Did you see where Torito was from? I refuse to believe it was real.
No, I don't remember.
Go back and watch.
I didn't clock it.
It was a collection of consonants, and then Mexico.
Are you trying to say basically it's somewhere from Wales?
It was. He was pretty much from that place from Wales, but Mexican version.
Hang on. Oh, it was. I genuinely thought you said continents, and I was like, no, did you say consonants or continents?
He's from several continents.
Multiple continents in Mexico.
Much like Scott Steiner, he has wrestled a lot of countries. A lot of things happened. We had the break. We see some chops. Proximo hits a splash from the top rope to the floor, and Terror Azteca hits like a really cool head scissor destroyer thing for the win.
New favourite move.
It was really cool, but we missed about 70% of this match because of the break. So,
yeah, but you say that like it was a bad thing.
I was looking forward to it. I like lucha tags.
Yeah, but these ones are like last week where they just inexplicably started bleeding because we missed half of out and floorboards are on the outside.
Give us an advert and everybody's bleeding and they set up fucking ring boards. All right.
Then we see a bunch of people have a fight because Promociones Dorado defeat Contra Unit. They brawl on the outside. Contra take control, there's chairs and forearms and stuff, and then Contra work over Mecha Wolf until a trio of drop kicks and some dives means all men are down. LA Park then gets a chair and chairs up Contra. Bestia and Mechia work out Quan. LA Park fucks Samael shit up with a knee. He knees him square in the jaw. Horrific scenes. Joseph DDT, but then Park hits a power slam for a near fall. Mecha Wolf 450, Gotch breaks it up. Park hits the final cut, Shades of 2001 Big Show, baby, for a near fall. Bestia and Mecha go for La Bella 450. Quan missed Mecha. Samael fireballs Bestia. All these things happen in the space of 30 seconds, and then Los Angeles Park hits the best spear ever for the win. In a wild brawl. He is the big skeleton dog. That was Fusion. This Saturday is Saturday Night Superfight, live on Pupaver or Fight TV, which is the place to be if you want to watch this wrestling. If you want to go check it out, you can obviously do it at fight.tv or the Fight TV app, or if you're feeling lucky punk, check out our social medias at TWM Wrestle. We will be giving away a free fight pass to go and watch Saturday Night Superfight on Fight TV. In case you don't know the card, let's run through the pre-show. We got Zenshi versus Hio del LA Park. We got Savio Vega against Leo Bryan. We got the Spirit Squad getting the shit kicked out of them. As Simon Gotch and Ikuro Kwon from Contra and Dominic Guarini and Douglas James face the Spirit Squad in a triple threat tag match. You also got...
That's the only match I'm looking forward to on like the whole card. I think it's going to be ridiculous.
Gino Medina making his debut against Airwolf, my favourite wrestler in MLW. Then on the main card, you've got Septimo Dragon, Gringo Loco, and Puma King against the Injustice trio of Myron Reed, Jordan Oliver, and Koto Brazil. That should be pretty good, actually. Like the 6-man tags with the Injustice guys and then Gringo Loco and insert 2 luchadors here have all been pretty solid, Mike.
Yeah, I'm sure there'll be plenty of underhanded tactics from Injustice.
Full show. We got Tom Lawler versus Timothy Thatcher. Reese, if you're in the market for 2 men grunting, doing submissions and hitting each other very, very hard, this is the match for you.
I feel like these guys are going to kick the shit out of each other.
Speaking of kicking shit, Low Key against Brian Pillman Jr. Kyle, I genuinely am fearing for Brian Pillman Jr. in this match.
All I know is I love watching Low-Key pick people, and I genuinely cannot wait to see this.
Remember what we said last week? If you don't remember, if you didn't listen to last week's podcast, or you've just forgotten, Brian Hill Jr. keeps mocking Low-Key, and I'm like, yeah, don't mock Low-Key. He is known for legitimately knocking people twice his size out. Go and Google the match between Low-Key and Dan Maff from Ring of Honor, where Low-Key legit knocked Dan Maff, a guy you probably would say is 3 times Low-Key's size, out cold.
Yeah, there's a reason Dan Maff has only just rejoined in Ring of Honor now, because he's only recently woken up from the kick.
Yes. He's coming in and going, hey, where's AJ? Where's AJ and Daniels and Joe? Sorry, what? Then you got a Stairway to Hell match, which, if you don't know, is basically a ladder match with a barbed wire sphere hanging from the ceiling. Mance Warner against Jimmy Havoc against Bestia, CCCs. Mike, yes, blood, violence, confirmed.
This is going to be all sorts of insane, isn't it?
Yes.
It was like the match that Mance and Jimmy had, a few weeks back was ridiculous enough on its own, and then let's throw Bestia in there with an axe to grind, so to speak.
And that had the comedy element of the bunkhouse thing. This is legitimately just gore for the sake of gore. So, and
it's on pay-per-view, so I almost feel like they're just going to go literal balls to the walls and just attempted murder on each other.
we can only hope for attempted murder. Then we've got our 4 championship matches. Hammerstone against Davey Boy Smith Jr. for the MLW National Open Weight Championship. Rhys, 2 big boys, and probably 2 of the biggest standouts in Fusion over the last few months.
It's definitely interesting to see which way they're going to go with this. I think the pushing Hammerstone, he's kind of becoming a big star in MLW, so I kind of see him retaining. But yeah, it should be a good match.
We've then also got for the MLW Middleweight Championship, the champion Teddy Hart going up against the homeless Austin Aries. Carl, you could argue, I think a few years ago, this would have been a dream match, like Teddy Hart versus Austin Aries. Austin Aries, you could argue, has fallen off a little bit in recent years, but this should be a fantastic match regardless.
Yeah, I get what you mean. Like, he has gone off the radar a small tad, especially because after Impact, everyone was like, where the hell is he, like, gone from here? But now, genuinely, I think this could be exactly what he needs to, like, get back to the prominence of being the greatest man that ever lived and out of his cardboard box.
He can move from the cardboard box to the slightly bigger cardboard box of a title win. Move up in that pay window, Mike, from the homeless pay window to the slightly less homeless pay window.
That's what we need in life, is to move up those pay windows. We all know where Mance Warner is, right at the top. So
top pay window.
That's where we want to be.
If anything, he's so high up. He's in the inconvenient pay window. He's got to get on his tippy toe.
He's on like a different floor.
Yeah, he's got to get a lift to his pay window.
The government funded one.
The Von Erichs go up against the Dynasty in a Texas Tornado match for the MLW Tag Team titles.
Is that cultural appropriation?
What, the fact it's a Texas Tornado match?
Yeah.
Only half like cultural appropriation.
just brilliant. I really do hope that MJF and Richard Holiday come in without their shoes on, thinking legitimately those are the rules for Texas Tornado.
We can only hope that.
And the main
or they just didn't insinuate that they insist that no, it's Texas Tornado style, so obviously you wrestle without anything on your feet.
They'll be in Mexico, rules. So they're probably less worried about catching stuff.
Yeah.
It's Chicago though, so
they're just going to be cold more than anything. They're in Chicago. And to the main event, Jacob Fatu, LA Park, no disqualification for the MLW title. Mike, we said that the Stairway to Hell match could be attempted murder. Genuinely, I feel this could be a case of one man will die in this match.
Well, I think you've got that in a couple of the matches. This match is kind of weird because obviously Park's cashing in his Battle Riot sort of like gold slip, so that's like one part of it. But they have tried to build it as as more than just a match, as almost like a war between Contra and Promociones Dorado.
This is almost
so like that.
It's almost a gang war, isn't it? This is like the final bit of the gang war, so to speak.
Yeah, but it's kind of. I think it's got a lot more riding on it for like Promociones Dorado because they want to obviously get like control of MLW back by having the title there. So that I think might actually swing it, and they put the title on LA Park to be.
Well, this one's an interesting one because also it's very similar to, it's like Alien versus Predator. It's like whoever wins, we all lose, because it's still a quote unquote bad guy at the top of MLW, whoever wins. So it'll be intriguing to see where they go going forward with this. But Saturday Night Superfight this Saturday. We'll be covering it next week on the Indie Wrestling Show next Wednesday. We'll have predictions coming out later on in the week, and I do think we'll be covering it live over on Fight. But like we said, if you want to win a free fight pass to watch Saturday Night Superfight, check out our social medias at TWM Wrestle for all the details. This week's Power starts off with a recap of everyone's wrestling dad, Tim Storm. Eli Drake, who's become kind of just like, I don't know whether you call him a shitstar, like the fairy godfather of NWA, just in the background of all the main event feuds.
He's the Charlie Caruso.
I don't know, I feel like he's like helping the community, or the older generation.
Is he doing community service? Is that what you're saying?
Very well, maybe.
Jim and Joe try and run down the card, but nothing is sacred because they get interrupted again, this time by James Storm. It leads to Eli Drake, who just stands there. James Storm, Colt Cabana, and Nick Aldis, and a 6-man tag is made. Then everyone, literally, my PlayStation decided to fuck on me and not let connect to the internet, so I couldn't watch NWA on my TV, so I had to watch it on my phone as I was writing these notes. And then the second this happened, everyone decided to message me on Facebook all at once and text me, so I missed this bit. But I got it down the end, which is if Storm's team wins, he gets a title shot, but he has to drop the national title. And if Aldis's team wins, Colt Cabana gets a national title match.
Correct.
There we go.
Or to be precise, I'll just go very British by saying that James Storm had to abdicate.
They made note of that on commentary as well later on, where it was just like, oh, Aldis is British, so he said abdicate.
I imagine there's like loads of Americans going, what's abdicate? Just Googling it, because obviously they've got no idea what it would be.
I want to see the spell checks for abdicate during that exact hour. Dave Marquez, who Kyle only realised halfway through this episode that he's not only the reporter, he's also the ring announcer.
Not even halfway through, it was during the main.
It's the same guy.
And Rhys just realised now.
I was today years old, is what they're saying.
He talked to Trevor Murdoch about not smiling, and I was tweeting about this, and I said, I don't think I've ever seen Trevor Murdoch smile once. So,
right, just before we go any further, did you notice that Trevor Murdoch looks like a less smiley Ricky Shane Page?
Are we not sure that Trevor Murdoch is not Ricky Shane Page's dad?
I'm pretty sure he's not from some of the stories.
Okay.
From Ricky Shane Page.
So he did an NWA call. I don't even want to go down that rabbit hole. He wanted an NWA contract, and he's avenging his good friend Colt Cabana. I didn't realise they were friends in this match. And we get Trevor Murdoch over Josephus. Why have I completely forgotten how to say it? Josephus. Oh, okay. Josephus throws Murdoch into the ring post to take control, but then Murdoch takes control. Josephus goes for the powder, but Murdoch kicks it back in his face, and it's a middle rope bulldog for the win. But the key part about this, Dave Marquez, as he's doing the ring announcement, sells the powder and coughs.
As they should do.
What a man!
That happened a while back in MLW, where one of the comms team reacted to it, the other one didn't. And I'm just like, no, you're sat right next to each other. If it's going to affect one of you, it's going to affect both of you.
Hang on.
Dave Marquez did well.
Selling.
Yeah, but if you looked at it, the positioning of the powder covered Cornette and Galley. It did not cover Marquez at all from where he was.
It's sympathy pains. That's what it
was. For cocaine symptoms in the air, why not?
Then we have Aaron Stevens come out, who's generally become the best part of this show.
Remember, don't make eye contact.
Don't make eye contact with Aaron Stevens. He's had to plug his film. Remember, it's on VHS in Bulgaria. And
but it's Romania.
It's both. They've announced distribution deal.
Both, isn't it? Yeah.
Then Ricky Stark comes out and holds his hand out. Actually, no. Well, didn't he come out and he says, "I don't need a stunt double," which great little throwaway.
Aaron Stevens thought Ricky Starks wanted to come out and be a stunt double, and then but you've got them stood right next to each other, and you're just looking. Yeah, it's not going to work. It's just not going to work.
Ricky Stark offers his hand, and then he slaps Aaron and says he talks too much. And somewhere, Matthew from Botchamania has another intro for his segment.
Right, someone's actually already tweeted Matthew about it.
Yeah. As soon as I heard that, I'd be like, "Oh well, Ricky's got himself on the next Botchamania."
He has. Some of these are doing it on purpose. I swear to God, they are now.
Yeah.
We get a recap for the whole feud. A really nice video, actually, for the Dawsons, Homicide, and Kingston. And then we get the no DQ match where the Dawsons go over Side and Kingston. Kingston, they get the jump on them by attacking him early on. They all brawl. Kingston Trent Sevens himself by missing the back fist into the ring post, and Homicide batters the hairy Dawson. And then the wild cards look on. Hairy Dawson had 4 chairs, Rhys, and missed 3 of them, putting them into the ring. There's chairs ahoy. Homicide hits a cutter for a near fall. The Dawsons then work over Homicide and Kingston. It's really weird, by the way, that because the matches are so short, Mike, that this match going on for quite a while in the middle of the show is almost jarring.
Yeah, that did catch me off guard. I'm sort of like, okay, I expected it to be over a lot earlier than it was, but they obviously wanted to give this match some time.
Yeah.
But then I was like, well, they're not going to end the show with it, because obviously the big 6-man. So yeah, it was a bit weird.
Dawson's, they work over Homicide and Kingston. Kingston gets double suplex onto a chair stack. Homicide fights, but he gets chaired up. The wild cards come in. They hit Hairy Dawson with the belt, and then Royce DVDs Kingston onto the chairs and pulls Bald Dawson on top for the win. Kyle, the Dawsons. I don't know if I like them or not. They just seem a bit generic to me.
I don't know if I liked any part of this match apart from the box chair throwing, because a good ending can make or break a match. And to me, Thomas Latimer attacking one Dawson and then Royce Isaacs attacking Homicide, I want to say it was.
Kingston.
No, it was King.
Oh, it was Kingston, was it? Yeah. And then giving the Dawsons the win makes 0 sense to me.
It was a confusing match.
I think they're just trying to push getting them in a 3-way.
Yeah,
title of the pay-per-view.
I feel like into the fire they'll have a 3-way tag match, maybe, or maybe a 4-way when they bring a new team in. We'll have to see. Then we get a little video package for Marty Bell saying that she might be Alison Kay's Menine, but she wants another title shot. And then before her match against Ashley Vox, Alison Kay comes out, of course, insists that they shoot her on a good side. As Kay says, both need to prove themselves to earn a title shot. And I do like the way, Rhys, that they, everyone's heels and faces, but their champions are kind of just, they are the standard bearers. They're the ones that are like, no, you have to prove to me. They're not really heels or faces. They kind of put everyone over. But at the same time, are kind of like, no, I am the measuring stick. You guys are good, but I am better. It's that throwback nature, and I think it really, really works.
To be fair, I think that's kind of a way it should be, and that's one thing the show does do very well. Another thing I'm a big fan of is, you mentioned the video package of Marty Bell before. NWA are pretty good at, rather than just putting 2 people in a ring and saying, here, this is it, they're introducing their characters slowly so that you can get behind the characters. I think they're doing a good job of this so far. Yeah,
Funny enough, that was the same thing I said last week about the vignettes.
They're really, really good with the vignettes and stuff. I do agree. Something that a certain All Elite Wrestling can probably learn from. Ashley Vox over Marty Bell. Vox hits a big drop kick to take control, goes for the fish hook, but Marty Bell backs her into a corner, and it's a big hip attack to take over. Then Marty Bell runs for a moveset. Vox hits a headbutt, counters a powerbomb into a fishbook. Confused by fishbook now. Until Bell fights out, and she counters a powerbomb again to a jackknife cover for the win. But then we hear drums. Someone has music for the first time ever. on NWA.
Was it actually meant to be music, or was it them trying to just set the moment?
I think it might have been them setting the moment, but it's just funny that someone comes out and the music starts randomly playing. Thunder Rosa's here! And Mike rejoices.
But did you, obviously we skipped the part that before the match they had Thunder Rosa vignette play.
Oh yeah.
It was different, but it was different from last week's one, because at the end they actually show a a view through the curtain of Marty Bell getting into the ring.
Oh, I missed that.
So they almost prefaced it coming.
That's really nice.
I thought it was Thunder Rosa getting the ring. It was Marty Bell, was it?
It was Marty Bell getting in the ring because once this happened, the way I viewed it is that they were showing Thunder Rosa watching her, if that makes sense.
Oh, so it's almost like stalking in some sort of way.
Yeah, in a way.
Can I make another point for a second as well on this whole thing?
Yep.
It's the fact that, like, in the promo they said Thunder Rosa is, like, coming soon. And literally, before the end of the episode, we found out, like, how soon.
It was more or less in the same segment. They actually found out, which is brilliant.
Thunder Rosa coming in a bit. It doesn't really have the same effect, does it?
Coming after the break.
Before we get into the last two matches, probably should talk about the adverts.
I was saving that for the end.
Do you want to say
they weren't in there?
Do you want to say?
I think it should have its own segment at the end.
Okay, we'll talk about the adverts at the end. So we'll go into another thing that I enjoyed: Ricky Starks over Aaron Stevens. I could watch these guys wrestle forever and ever because this was such holiday camp bullshit, Mike. It was brilliant. It was such a holiday camp style match, and I loved it.
But we don't get enough of that, though. That's the thing. I think it's really a lost art form on a lot of people.
Because this was so simple,
in terms of fans,
but so well done. Like it was a 5 minute. Exactly. It was a 5 minute match. Starks dominated early on. Then Aaron Stevens kicks the ropes into the dick of Ricky Starks to take over, like a good heel does. Stevens runs through his stuff, does the Russian leg sweep and the elbow, and then turns around, does the Triple H curtsy, which I thought was quite funny, and then says "You're welcome," which was a nice little subtle dig. And then he paintbrushes Ricky Starks, which fires him up. Starks is a sling blade and runs wild, and then Starks goes for the slap, and Steven screams and goes, "Not the face! Not the face! I've got a photo shoot for Vision Express!" And gets rolled up for the win. 5 minutes, really simple. Face and heel both got over. It was humorous, but also effective, and just loved it. Fantastic.
I bet you neither of them actually broke a sweat doing it as well. And that's not to say they didn't work hard, but it was so effective what they did.
It was fun.
They didn't need to do more.
Yeah.
I'm going to say, you said it's like a camps match. NGW wishes that they could get people that over in 10 minutes.
This is true.
Well, I don't know. They've put a lot of time. Ricky Starks in his debut, looked amazing.
Yeah.
And they've slowly been putting Aaron Stevens over with vignettes, the interview segments. So they've put the hard work into them, but they've now had the matches to back that up as well. Then
Aaron Stevens has the most entertaining argument with the crowd ever. This killed me. He just going, "No, yes," and then they just repeat. He just repeats it for legit 3 minutes as he's leaving the ring.
His interview earlier in the show where somebody shouted he was wearing a blouse, just Clark but he was like, "No, it's just a normal shirt."
Oh, his comebacks are amazing. Also, I have to ask you both, did you just expect him to flip it and go yes, and the crowd would say no?
That would have been brilliant. Yes, no, aha, they just walked off. That would have been glorious scenes. Then we have the main event, which was, I love this because it was really off-putting, but I loved it. They have 6 people in the ring, and I think all of them caught off guards. In one corner, Team Aldis. Is in the other corner, Team Storm.
But I found that really weird because it just completely relegated Cabana's importance in this match with the outcome.
It was just really strange.
No, because when you think of it, Cabana was the one who was going to take any prominence from this, from Aldis's team. And then it's kind of an afterthought because they genuinely only introduced the current reigning champs.
Yeah, it was really strange because you had Storm, Latimer and Isaacs on one side and Cabana, Anderson and Aldis on the other. Latimer and Aldis scrapped open with the NWA champ taking over with a clothesline. Face is in control until Latimer takes down Cabana so the heels can work Colt over. Anderson hits a hot tag, runs wild, hits the Finley roll on Latimer for a near fall. Anderson hits a mic check. Everyone hits a big move spam between all 6 men. Storm misses the last call and hits Royce Isaacs. Aldis hits a big slam, and then Colt hits one of my favourite moves. And generally, it made me think of, because we're coming towards the end of the year, the TWMEs are literally on their way. And I started thinking about top moments, and this reminded me of Colt's fairy tale run in the New Japan Cup with the Superman pin. This move is so clever but so funny. The Superman pin, and he hits that and
it's
gets
so simple, isn't it?
Yeah. and hits for the win. And we said this before, 45 minutes, this, because of the clocks going back in the UK, this started at 10, it was finished before 11 o'clock. It was fun.
A win.
It's simple. They have adverts on it that are fucking batshit. The deal that Tony Falk had on his tyre irons and waffles.
Well, what can a man do? Like, you buy 3 waffles. Bear in mind, they're gluten-free, and they got nothing dodgy in, or maybe the best ingredients. And if you buy 3 waffles, you get 4 tyre irons for free.
Gold-plated tyre irons.
What a deal.
The deal, yeah.
I think me and you discussed this a couple of weeks ago, Matty. We genuinely hope that this was real somewhere.
The Austin Idol wrestling school is real. I'm not sure. I'm really hoping the waffles and tyre irons are real.
No, genuinely, I want to go there. Can we all just put a trip?
That's gonna be the first live the indie wrestling show.
Austin Aries GoFundMe.
And then also we had Austin Idol's kayfabe cocktail, which someone brilliantly made me laugh and tweet going, because it's a kayfabe cocktail, does that mean it's just water?
Of course it does.
I was like, well played. I can't read what's on Twitter, but I salute you. We all headed down to Wolverhampton for Fight Club Pro's Infinity Tournament. Normally it's for the Infinity Trophy, but this time it was for the Fight Club Pro World title. And we left kind of just going, it was okay. Which is a real shame, because I've loved the first 2 Fight Club Pro shows, but I think we nailed it down to one thing. We're going to go through, there were some highlights, but Mike, I think overall it was a case of the finish is what we wanted, but it wasn't in the way we wanted it to happen, but there was nothing we could really do about that.
Yeah, I can't add anything more to that. It's exactly that way.
Like Rhys, they should have ended with Dan beating Mark Davis at Project Mayhem, and then this probably him being him being some sort of marquee match, and then him finding out who his first challenger is going to be for the Fight Club Pro title.
It's just kind of a shame the way it happened. It's such a important moment for Fight Club and for Dan himself. It just kind of fell a bit flat.
Yeah. They built up at the end, which we will talk about, but there was also, because it was around Halloween time, there were costumes ahoy. Our boy Rhys killed it as Orange Cassidy, just because he is literally our Orange Cassidy. Our friend Lawson turned up as Cara Noir. That was incredible. There was about 14...
And they formed their tag team of the Orange.
They did. There was about 14 Martinez, about another 15 Orange Cassidys. The entire crowd booed a child, which was tremendous.
The look on Fraser's face when everyone started booing, he was just like, oh, fuck.
Well, you have no position in the judge. You get the minus offer on the chase.
He's also the one who brought the child into the ring, so it's partially his fault.
Yeah, it's your fault.
Everything's his fault.
And Orange Cassidy then put over the child, which was good to see.
Actual Orange Cassidy.
Actual Orange Cassidy, not dressed up Orange Cassidy, who was there were dressed up ones there. It was confusing. Anyway, first round matches. We opened with Dan Maloney defeating Eddie Kingston. Dan Maloney went over with the Driller. Mike, it was a good. These two battered the shit out of each other, to be honest.
Yeah, and they did try and put some story into it as well, so it wasn't just a meaningless match.
It was probably the best match. It was my favourite match of the night, anyway.
It was
part of another one.
I did miss half of it. The second match was Jordan Devlin defeated Cara Noir. I missed half of it because I'm an idiot and packed the wrong jeans in my bag. When I travelled up, I packed my old shitty jeans that had holes in them, and then realised halfway through that my entire jean crotch had ripped.
Testicles were hanging out.
My balls were swinging. So I ended up being completely distracted and had to quickly run to the toilet to address said ball situation, and missed half this match. So I don't really have an opinion on it, so I'll just let Kyle spooge over Jordan Devlin defeating Cara Noir.
Ireland! I think,
that's your review. That's your review later on.
I know. Must more be said, but I'll talk about it anyway, because it was a absolutely stellar match. Devlin, can do no wrong in my eyes. He is one of the best talents that we've got in the UK and Ireland right now. And Cara Noir is definitely like on a tear, like in the UK scene. He seems almost reinvigorated, like if you've watched any of his recent stuff, and just seeing those two create, well, art in the ring, I've called it before.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind a repeat performance of that. And we got Jordan Devlin going over, so not mad at all.
This was at the peak of Kyle being happy. When we get to the final, this will get the peak of salty Kyle. Then we had the third first round match, which was Trent Seven's open challenge. Joe Nelson answered the challenge, which is one of the people that I hoped was going to be in the tournament. Rhys, it was a really solid showing from young Joseph.
Yeah, definitely. Like, that guy wrestles like he's been wrestling for years longer than he actually has been. He's super talented.
Yeah, he's been wrestling.
Yeah.
He wrestles like he's been wrestling longer than he actually is alive, which is, I think, a brilliant compliment for Joe Nelson.
He doesn't seem to have like any fear for someone that age. Like, how old is he? 17, and in front of a crowd of that many people, and he didn't even seem phased.
It was tremendous. And also Trent Seven just going, I'm going to go through all the dangerous moves from N64 No Mercy, because he does the pile driver, he's doing the ripcord lariat, he's doing the emerald flosion now, and then he decided to go, you know what, I'm not doing the burning hammer, which I normally do, I'm going to do another fissure, I'm going to do the vertebreaker.
Hey, but it worked out, didn't it?
Fucking kudo driver.
Comment on this match as well.
Yes, you may.
Nice, thank you. I feel like I've been allowed to do something for once, which is fun.
You literally just described the Jordan Devlin match.
I know, but still, I like having like an opportunity to say things when I want to. But at least I raise my hand because it's like a school.
Yes, we followed the Eddie Dennis model here.
Yeah, genuinely. Joe Nelson comes from the crop of kids who've kind of got into wrestling around the age of Will Ospreay's peak. And a lot of that offense is still flippy, but he's still like quite grounded as well.
Yeah.
But he's got a mixture of like the Mark Andrews like mat wrestling and the Will Ospreay like aerial technique, I'd like to say. And genuinely, along with being trained by Kip Sabian, let me like remember to put that in there, you can see a lot of like all of these influences in his style, and the confidence I feel has been built up through the Frog and Bucket performances, because Tuesday Night Graps and Schadenfreude and Friends have made that young man a star, and he's only just like going on the up and up and up by performing in front of these bigger crowds. Yeah,
no question. I feel like the sky's the limit for Joe Nelson. He is tremendous.
I don't even think it's necessary. Like the size of crowds being big crowds, it's just like the big moments, like. Because like those Schadenfreude and Friends at the Frog and Bucket aren't huge. Yeah, there's not a huge amount of people in there.
No, it's like 200 people. So
the whole of British wrestling's watching.
Yeah, this is true.
But
not really, because it's not on demand.
You know what I mean.
Yeah, but genuinely, while we're mentioning that, Little Joe versus Kyle Fletcher from Schadenfreude and Friends is one of my favourite matches of the year, and it's got but none of you three will get to enjoy it because live experience only.
We had a scramble match for the first round, as Kyle flexes on us that he was at Schadenfreude and Friends, which had Chuck Mambo, Clint Margera, Carlos Romo, Chief Deputy Dunn, Connor Mills, and Orange Cassidy, which filled our hearts with joy. My first time seeing Orange Cassidy live, and it was fucking worth it. He is amazing. From the moment where he pinned two people and got a 1 count and demanded that it was a 3.
They were both 3s.
Well, in our eyes they were 3s, but in the eyes of the clearly biased referee...
Look, Joel just, he was too busy. He was worrying too much about suplex stuff.
Yeah.
He couldn't count
properly. He could see a potential sale going on in the background and missed the count. And Mambo got the shock, which I was really happy with in this. Like, I was really happy Mambo, because he's been getting a decent push over the last year in Fight Club Pro, from when I've been there, and then from just hearing about it from you guys.
He's gone from Scramble Master to beating Tim Thatcher to getting a win in the Infinity Tournament.
Yeah, it's tremendous, and I'm really happy he got a chance to be in the final and prove that he is still the Scramble Master. Then we had Travis Banks and Omari defeating the Moonlight Express, which was Mao, and I love to sound like that, and Mike Bailey. Banks and Omari picked up the win, but I was really impressed, Kyle, by Mao and Mike Bailey. They are a really good tag team. I've been waiting for ages for them to be brought over. I want them to be brought over.
It was Mav's UK debut as well.
Yeah, I wanted them to be brought over for DTTI this year. Unfortunately, that wasn't the case, but these two are fantastic, and I hope we see more of them in this country.
I think I've seen them advertised for a couple of shows. I think Good's running November 23rd, I want to say, and they're booked for that, so he's definitely over for at least a month. Despite
people's opinions, WrestleGate have got Mal as well, I think, and Mike Bailey.
But if they're booked for Good, technically they're also booked for Bad, as Rev Pro have them tagging.
What a segue! Nailed that one, Mears. Good job. Then we had, I'm going to get this wrong and watch Carl immediately correct me, Meiko Satomura.
Mako, correct.
Yeah, get in! Defeated Millie McKenzie via pinfall. It was a good match, but Mike, I felt like, I think we both said this, that it felt like it ended like a few minutes too early.
Yeah, the end seemed to come along very quickly, which it was just a bit weird, but it was a really good match. Like I remember turning to you at one point and going, and just mentioning how the influence that Millie has had from being over in Japan like an extended period this year, training day in, day out. Yeah, it was actually drastically improved her in-ring performance in terms of just the little things like level of aggression she brings, how believable a lot of her shots are, because she is a small girl, and a lot of people will always bring up the fact that they didn't find her believable, so to speak, with her punches, especially in wrestling males. But I feel like that she's sort of upped her game on massively, and it's really showing. It was a really good match though.
Yeah, it was a really good match. I just felt like I think that might have been showing how good it was because I wanted more.
I think it was also interesting seeing it was the first time I've seen Satomura like de facto heel.
Yeah,
wow.
She was pretty much. Also, I got to hear Satomura's proper theme, so
you did.
I was happy. And now the fact that Day has ruined Satomura's progress theme for everyone.
Windows XP.
I hate him for that, but we'll talk about that later. Then we get to the main event, which was Dan Maloney winning the Fight Club Pro title, defeating Jordan Devlin, Chuck Mambo, and Trent Seven to win the title. The key point is, let's talk about Kyle being salty, because Jordan Devlin was eliminated in the space of about the first 3 minutes, and all I could hear was Kyle just going, "It's happened again! It's happened again! He's been eliminated first again!"
They've tried and succeeded to fuck on him.
I genuinely don't think any of you have ever seen me that annoyed at a wrestling show.
No, I've heard you be annoyed at a wrestling show before, and it was when a certain person won the Dragon Pro title.
Yeah, but you've never seen me actually do it in person.
No, not seen you, but that was brilliant, because generally, he sat there, was you in front of us? You was in front of us, weren't you? And it happened, and all I hear is his hands slap his thighs and just go, "It happened again! It's happened again!"
I think that was afterwards. I think, like, in the moment, the miraculous, just like, okay, all energy's gone out of me. I literally just crossed my legs and placed them on the table besides me.
It's generally, I've never seen Kyle so close to just leaving.
I've done it before.
Oh, it was brilliant. And then Dan Maloney eliminated Mambo with the driller, and then defeated Trent Seven with the driller. Personally, I didn't like the sequence between Maloney and Trent, as apparently someone's going through a wind tunnel. Rhys, I didn't like the end between Maloney and Trent. I felt like it was very similar to Travis and Pete, Ali Pally, where they just went through about 40,000 finishes, kicking out of all of them.
I think, like, the issue for me is that it always felt like Maloney was winning, and so all the near falls and everything, I couldn't buy into it because I just kind of knew that Dan was gonna walk out with a belt. So yeah, like, I don't like being negative. Like, I thought it was good and enjoyable and all that, but I just couldn't really get fully into it.
For me, going in, Devlin was the only swerve they could have done, and that ended.
I said Mambo
immediately.
This is a weird comparison, so bear with. Last night's Bake Off, and if you haven't watched it, skip forward about a minute, because I'm just going to quickly talk about it, was the final last night, and you went into it with... Everyone thought that Steph was going to win it because she just kicked the shit out of everyone and won Star Baker 4 weeks in a row. Very similar to how everyone went into this, assuming Dan Maloney was going to win this. And even though it's a baking show and it's meant to be somewhat based in realism and stuff, they actually booked this brilliantly, because the way it was like put together was that Steph ended up psyching herself out of it, and then someone that had been solid but unspectacular ended up winning the whole thing. So I personally thought I wanted Mambo to get the shock win, and maybe give Mambo, maybe have Mambo 1-2 months of the belt and then switch it over to someone. Maybe the new champion, like someone can win the belt, a heel can win the belt in January. Give Mambo like a few months run with the title. Because it was so obvious to have Dan Maloney win that it was like, well, we're sitting here to find out how the end of this goes, and is anything going to happen leading to Dan getting this? No, Dan's just going to win it. He's just going to beat Trent for the title. And
using sorry to cut you off, but like using a more similar analogy, obviously we were both there when Trav won Super Strong Style 16 2 years ago, and like that was, as much as we were like almost in our minds we knew he was going to win, there was still that magic of the moment of when he did win, and there was still disbelief in it. There was no disbelief in this match that Dan wasn't going to win.
I'm not blaming Fight Club Pro.
I would have loved it if they'd have just eliminated Dan first. Everybody's gone, oh shit.
Yeah, done the old ECW, eliminate the person everyone thinks is going to win first.
Well, eliminate because they did it with Taz.
Yeah, Taz,
three-way elimination, wasn't
Taz, Masato Tanaka, and Mike Awesome. They did it with.
Yeah, and they eliminated Taz first as champion because he was going to WWE, and everybody's like, "Oh shit!"
I might have to go watch that now. When we finish this, I might put that on the network. Watch the pay-per-view. What did bring it up? Trent cut a brilliant promo at the end of it, endorsing Dan Maloney and talking about Brit Rest and stuff, and then the Fight Club Pro roster applauded from the stage. And Doris made his Fight Club Pro debut. Basically being Dan Maloney's Manine that turned up. But you got International Technicos coming up next month, which is the last show of the year, I do believe. Which is kind of more of this was more of an epilogue towards the Schadenfreude Fight Club Pro story. They needed to do because the actual end of the show the end of the story they couldn't really do. So the next one's kind of just a bit more of a showcase of all the lucha guys they're bringing over, and then they'll restart again in January. It was good. I would recommend watching it on demand purely for the opening match and the Satomura Millie match, but. Hopefully, and the scramble was pretty good as well. Orange
just
Cassidy.
the show,
but it was just it just felt a bit flat. Hopefully, I feel like give Dan a fire opponent in January and give him a fire opponent at Technicos, and they'll be off and running because Dan Maloney is one of the best young talents in the UK today. This podcast, and indeed all TWM podcasts, are brought to you by SquaredCircleBox.com, the only place for your monthly wrestling box needs. With things from superstars from WWE, AEW, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Impact Wrestling, British Wrestling, Independent Wrestling, and loads more, it is the only place that matters if you want to get the best wrestling swag for a low, low price. That low, low price is just £25, people. What a bargain! And you can get snapbacks, t-shirts, magazines, DVDs, trinkets, whatchamacallit, doodads, you name it, they have it each and every month. And just because you listen to TWM, you sexy, sexy people, you get 10% off your first order. All you got to do is use the code TWM News in the checkout. Just use the code TWM News in the checkout for 10% off your first order at SquaredCircleBox.com.
I said, why not spread the gospel of the TWM squad with some of our lovely merch over at Teespring. We have t-shirts for all shapes and sizes, hoodies, sweatshirts, mugs, stickers, and loads more. Also, just for listening to this podcast, you can get 10% off your order. I said using the code podcast. That's podcast. Once again, podcast in the checkout for 10% off at teespring.com/stores/TWM-wrestling-merch. That's right. Praise. Testify.
Then on Sunday, we headed down to That There London for Chapter 97, Progress's Sex Robots Will Eventually Be Capable of Murder. And it was a good show. It was a really, really fun show. Again, Mike, it was one of those shows that a lot of people were crapping on from a tremendous height because of the lack of so-called star power. But once again, it delivered.
Yeah, Progress gets a lot of shit about the whole NXT UK stuff, but like there was very little on this. There's a lot of new up and coming guys coming through, so I loved it. I really enjoyed the show.
We start off with Mark Andrews alongside his BFF and Progress World Champion Eddie Dennis, defeating Connor Mills via pinfall. The highlight of this being that everyone's booing them. I was booing but also clapping because I want to be in keeping with the Progress storyline, but also we fucking love Mark and Eddie. Whereas Kyle was clapping. Mark immediately singles Kyle out and flips him off. Which was an underrated highlight of the show, Kyle.
I feel we deserved that.
Yeah, we probably did. So I'm not going to peel the Iron Curtain back a little bit because Intel.
Yeah, let's just say that Mark and Eddie are great people. They are great people. So Mark as a heel, he did it quite well. I will give him that.
He's not over the top with it, is he?
No.
That's the good thing.
He's just been a bit of a prick, which is basically what Eddie does.
Like edgelord extreme.
Yeah. So basically Eddie distracts the ref, so he kicks him right in the dick son and then hits an inside cradle for the win. Don't know how you hit an inside cradle, but you know what I mean. Dennis and Andrews then attack Mills after he failed. I love Eddie to being like, I trained you, shake his hand. It's brilliant shithousery. OGMO and David Starr make the save, and then David Starr kicks off at Eddie because his masters won't let him wrestle. Ooh, inside info. Even though we all knew that. And they just argue back and forth. Dave makes a very good point that everyone wants to throw shots at him when he's not there, which is a really, really good point to have with him. And he wants his title shot. And then Eddie goes, I will give you a title shot eventually if you can beat an opponent I pick in the main event. And he picks the OGMO. So the main event was David Starr versus the OGMO. Now, Mike, we were wondering whether, because OGMO and David Starr were advertised, and it said that they just put them against each other. So, makes sense.
Yeah, it kind of seems almost as if they booked them for the show and then they've changed what they were going to do.
Yeah, but
because I think if you hadn't planned that in advance, well, you wouldn't want to have that out there that those two are like having that match, I guess.
One would imagine that maybe they were going to do FSU against Starr and OGMO, but Dennis wasn't cleared at the time. I think he's now been cleared, or he's going to be cleared very soon. I think he's alluded to it on social media.
He said he's like gearing up for a return at Hull for NXT.
Yeah. Then we had Pretty Deadly with their leather pants and see-through shirts.
And Spooky Fingers.
And Spooky Fingers, which is mine and Carl's new favourite thing to do to each other in a show. Just tell me to go, hey Carl, Spooky Fingers. It shouldn't be that funny. But it really is.
Month, so.
Yes. And they defeated the makeshift team of Jordan Breaks and Sid Scala because Darrell Allen couldn't be at the show, so we had that team. We spoke earlier, Mike, about Holiday Camp matches, and this was a very Holiday Camp style match, and I loved it.
Yeah, it was. I kind of feel it was like that middle ground between the typical wrestling we used to see from Progress, like that like indie style, and like all the shithousery, like the fun shithousery you get in the camp matches by the heels.
Yeah.
But no, they sold it all well. It was very, psychology-wise, it was good. They built to all their spots, like quite smartly. But then, you had the heels just beat the bastards.
The pair of leather-panted bastards. Right.
I'm sorry, I want to say something for a second. Quickly,
before I get on to fake news, so...
No, I think it was Mike who came up with the best makeshift team name for Sid Scala and Jordan Breaks.
Oh, was this not... Was it... No, this was... No, this was Mike. We started off with a working title, and I think Mike perfected it. And wasn't it... What was it, Kyle?
I think, Mike originally said, Knuckle Sockers, because they both wrestled and they both wore socks.
Yeah.
But then I think I added to it possibly, and we decided Hustle Locks.
Yeah, you had Hustle Locks. They should have been called Hustle Locks and Knuckle Socks. The movie. There we go. That's their name from now on. Right. Let's deal with fake news, because you can go read the otherwise excellent review of Chapter 97 from my friend and yours, Daowen, on twm.news. But he may have possibly, because I have seen a snippet of it, said that I have changed my mind on Ilya Dragunov. I have not changed my mind on Ilya Dragunov. I still think he is incredibly overrated. I will, however...
That's slander, that is. I believe he's getting fired in the morning.
No, I'm going to keep him. I'm going to make him rot in the reserves.
Leave our reports alone, Mike.
He's writing the reviews on Main Event from now on.
I will say, I still think Ilya Dragunov's incredibly overrated, but, Kyle, this match was fantastic.
Well, I saw the first one, and I was genuinely major anticipating this one, and it delivered, if not was better.
Really, really good. There was tremendous storytelling. The bit where they lay on each other and they kind of fall up and then hold hands, and then finally one of them kisses the other one.
Dunkzilla Davis is crying somewhere.
Cry wanking.
With a massive...
and also, I'm pretty sure third, because obviously Cara Noir wins with the... is it called Death Clutch, or is it just a choke?
The Death Clutch.
Death Clutch. He wins with the Death Clutch. Referee stops the match. So the third match, pretty sure, is going to be full penetration. So brace yourselves whenever that happens. And whoever...
This match needs to go on Brazzers, let's just face it. You won't find it on Progress on Demand.
It's going to be in fake taxi. The NIC and Do Not Resuscitate, it did not happen, because Spike Gervais, looking like Harry Potter, appeared on the screen and announced that he might not be here, but he's sent back up. And... I'm not gonna lie, in a huge swerve, I did not see this coming at all. In a huge swerve, pretty deadly. Join Do Not Resuscitate.
Swerve, but not mad at it.
Not mad at it at all.
Same as Kyle.
Align the team, and also me and Mike noticed. I think you might have noticed it as well, Kyle. That this now seems to be a lot of Mambo telling them to stop and like, right, that's enough now. Because perhaps maybe Mambo's like, well, no, this is not what we set Do Not Resuscitate up for.
Chuck Mambo has a conscience.
It was set up to get rid of the old guard of Progress, not beat up the new guys. So
yeah, they've kind of become in everything that they hated, and the reason why they set up the group, so it gives Mambo an exit out of the group as well. Which is, I think it's really smart.
I didn't actually clock that, because I was like, I don't think they've had a match against any of the old guards since that Alexander Palace 4-on-4.
No, after basically they've turned their attention onto OGMO, who is like the great hope for the young wrestlers of getting the title away from the old guard. And
if you compare OJMO to anyone to do with DNR, he's like gone through it like the traditional way, and they're trying to fight for what they think is right. But now they're attacking their own cause when you think about it.
Yeah, it's really, really good. Then we had our two title matches. We had the Progress Women's Championship as Miko. Damn it, I got it right earlier as well. Miko
No, you did say it right, and then you corrected yourself. It's Mako.
Mako Satomura defeated Danny Luna via pinfall to retain the title. Right? Do I be mean about Miss Luna, or do I keep it slightly nice? I'm not sure.
Like me in the group chat, truthful but harsh.
She's not like when I first saw her, she had the match against Mark Davis, and it was incredible, and she was brilliant. I immediately like, right, this is the horse I'm backing. She's tremendous. She's not improving in these big marquee matches. I would argue that she's she's almost bottling it a little bit in these big matches and making silly mistakes that ends up like being a detriment to the match. I don't know if anyone else picks up what I'm putting down here.
That. I want to say something about that.
Yeah, go on.
The match between her and Tony, not the best match that I've ever seen her have, but she still held her own.
Yeah.
The match with Mako, I don't think there was as much intensity behind her, but I think maybe it was booked that way as the young upstart who's not really had that many opportunities. Apart from the Jordan Grace match, which I think, Matty, you yourself can say that's one of the best matches that you've seen her have.
Yeah.
And that was a big opportunity.
That was. She went from having these great matches to being very hit and miss.
But to me, I'm thinking, was it meant to be like booked like that? Was she meant to basically just be the young upstart given an opportunity against a 20-year veteran and can't hold her own?
Maybe, but it still felt like that she fluffed her lines a little bit, not in the storyline sense, just in the general match sense. I feel like she's got a lot of kinks to work out, and hopefully she works them out soon.
And you say that now, and I want to bring you into this for a second, Mike, because you've been at a lot of like home ground Dragon Pro shows where we've seen Dani Luna, and me and you always go on about her matches with Giselle Shaw.
Yeah, I think part of that comes from the familiarity and like Giselle's like the reps in the ring. So I think one of the big problems is that's what Dani needs. She needs matches. Like she just needs matches to, in effect, find her feet. Like, and it sucks that like somebody in her situation would be perfect to do the camp shows for a summer.
Another point that just
doesn't exist.
Another point I want to bring up, which I think me and you actually discussed there, Mike. We'd love to see her get us like a little like 3-month stint in Sendai. Like I've just mentioned Giselle. Giselle did Tokyo Joshi for a month or so. Dani Luna could be incredibly helped working with people like Meiko Satomura, Dash Chizako.
It worked for Millie.
Yeah,
it's worked for Chevins as well when you look at it.
Yeah, me and Mike discussed this at Fight Club Pro. We said about her time in Sendai showed it really sharpened up her strikes, because that was one of Millie's big issues, was the fact that her strikes fell a little bit flat compared to the rest of her hard-hitting offense. Working with Meiko, you are going to learn how to hit hard, and I feel like Dani needs that fine-tuning. I just don't want it to be too much too soon. She's been around that NXT UK stuff, so I reckon she needs to be... I reckon before she goes to NXT UK, if they were to bring her, because I guarantee she will, because she's a very, very talented wrestler, I think she needs some seasoning in somewhere like a Japan.
I just want to see her up against Chihiro Hashimoto. Hot lady fight.
And yeah, she needs that. She needs that seasoning. She's not ready yet. She's not fully cooked. Is Dani Luna?
The way I see it is her matches are a series of moves, as opposed to
a sequence of moves.
Yeah, she hasn't got the filler between moves to make it all flow.
Yeah. This is...
If you get what I mean. You know, like the little things like Zack Sabre Jr. does between holds, where even if it's just how he sells something, even though he's just had an offensive hold on it, there are those little things that she like kind of doesn't really seem to have, and she goes from sequence to sequence to sequence instead of it all flowing through. Very,
very true. Pro US title match via submission or knockout. Paul Robinson defeated Bill Eaver with a knockout. Mike, these two battered each other, and it was brilliant.
Yeah, like what more could we ask for? They threw each other around the ballroom, and I'm just gutted. Like I think we were both hoping for a curb stomp on the speaker.
Yeah,
we didn't get it.
Was a shame. They moved the speaker away, which was disappointing. But yeah, so he dropped Eaver with a host of curb stomps and brutal strikes, leading to referee to call for the bell. Which I like they're doing this. I like that they're having the thing where the ref calls it off. It makes Paul look legit, which is great.
Yeah. Also, to pad the story out, we had Mambo come out towards the end of this match, even though he was sent back at the start of the match.
Because he cares about Eaver. He doesn't want Eaver to get really hurt. And also, it built up Eaver as a legit badass, because he kept getting up and like laughing in Paul's face, which was great stuff. Like, all of it was really good.
Mambo coming out to do that kind of goes back to like the value of when they started the NRF.
Yeah, this is true.
The old guard. So they told a lot of story in this show.
It was great. Finally, David Starr defeated the OJMO. This match was brilliant, Kyle. I loved this match. It was so well done.
Yeah, but a part of me really wanted the shock of OJMO winning.
Yeah, I wondered if they were going to do that, and maybe they build up a little bit further down the line. But David Starr did come out on top. OJMO looked great. OJMO was carrying a neck injury because he landed on his head, OTT, which we'll talk about in a little bit later on. But absolutely, tremendous match between these two. We've seen these guys before in a different promotion in Rev Pro, and just tremendous. It's a really, really fun show. I'd recommend checking it out on demand as and when it comes out. But there's two little bits of admin. Something we missed last week and something that came out, I believe, maybe like just after we went out podcast last week. So they announced Club Progress replacing the season ticket system, which is basically you pay a one-off membership fee and you get a guaranteed band of a ticket a week before general sale with a 20% discount, and you get a membership goodie bag and 10% discount on merchandise and early ticket access to events outside London and internationally. I know I got mine sorted. I know Mike got his sorted as well.
Yep, I've renewed for another season.
I've renewed. Yeah, we both. Well, I wasn't renewing my season ticket until Club Progress happened, and then I bought a Club Progress ticket instead. So that works. Kyle and Rhys, I know exactly you haven't got. Do you have season tickets? You're not. Are you tempted to maybe do this Club Progress thing?
Definitely. I just have to wait until I get paid on Friday. Thank God for fortnightly wages.
Rhys?
I like the idea of it.
Yeah.
If my sort of schedule for the next year or so wasn't as packed as it is with study, I'd be all over it. But I'm going to have to give it a miss, I think.
But it's a really, really good idea and stuff. Maybe get the international one, because then you can get to the ones in and around your ends. They announced some shows for 2020. 19th of January, they announced they're in the Electric Ballroom. We'll go through the Electric Ballroom dates first. So 19th of January, 23rd of Feb, 29th of March, 26th of April, the 28th of June, the 26th of July, the 30th of August, 27th of September, 25th of October, 29th of November, 30th of December, all in the Electric Ballroom in Canada. They also announced some non-London dates, rather. They announced the 11th and 12th, which is the O2 Ritz in Manchester and the O2 Academy in Newcastle. Their debut in Leeds on the 10th of May, and then they are their first show in Manchester on the 9th of May. And two out of you three boys now, because one of you doesn't live there anymore, 2nd of February in the Tram Shed in Cardiff.
I like the way you built that one up.
I know. I put you over, brother. Progress in Wales. That you haven't got a traipse anymore. They're coming to you.
I know. I can still get a bus to the venue, but it'll cost me about £2.
and he's going to be
disappointed they're not doing Progress Prestatyn.
I'm waiting for Progress Bash at the beach at Barry Island, but this will do for now. So, in the gap between the Friday of Fight Club Pro and the Sunday at Progress in London, Kyle decided to be a maniac and fly to, was it Dublin? Dublin, yeah, for OTT's 5th anniversary show.
I have to get my air miles somehow.
That's why he is the pitbull of BritRest. Dale. So Mr. Worldwide, Mr. I don't even know what the area code is for where you're from. Mr. What's the
CF46?
Mr. CF46. Oh, staying at the hotel motel. Oh fuck! I forgot to book a hotel when I'm at the airport.
Oh, you had to get that in there, didn't you?
Yeah. No, this is a true story. We're all texting Kyle. We're all leaving our hotel after Fight Club Pro, and then all we who get as a group is fuck. And we're like, "What's happened? Has your flight been delayed?" He's like, "No, I'm in the airport. And I've just realised I didn't book my hotel." Oh, shocking scenes.
So got it sorted though. Everything was fine.
But the kind of the big image coming out of that show was the line of security blocking David Starr and Jordan Devlin for their OTT World Title match. Before we go and get in the rest of the show, what was it like being in the crowd for like one of the most highly anticipated matches in European wrestling between Starr and Devlin for the belt?
I've just got to say, if you thought that the intensity in the room, like during the Super Strong Style match, was insane, nothing compares to the atmosphere in the National Stadium that night. Literally, you could just feel the energy.
Because obviously the whole crowd had turned on Jordan. Well, the majority of the crowd had turned on Jordan Devlin and sided with David Starr after that amazing video package that OTT put out again. They said they are the best in the world at video packages right now, bar none. They are tremendous. David Starr won the belt, and Jordan Devlin has left OTT, whatever that means. But we'll quickly run through the results. I'm going to go check it out on demand as soon as I possibly can. So
it's up now, so check it out after this, mate.
I will, but I've got loads of things. I want to watch the ECW. I'll watch it eventually. We had a pre-show match, which was Amy Alonzi and Vader Scott defeating Club Tropicana. Callum Black, Mike Bailey and Trent Seven defeating Cara Noir, Amari and the OGMO. This is the match where Callum Black pounced OGMO mid-Fosbury flop, and he was about 3 seconds from landing on his head. Well, he did land on his head, but 3 seconds from really badly landing on his head.
Yeah, Cara Noir saved him gladly.
Terry Thatcher defeated Eddie Kingston in a ladder match. Scotty Davis retained his No Limits title against LJ Cleary. Katie Harvey defeated Valkyrie. So sad to win the OTT Women's Show. Actually, I like Katie Harvey, so that's fine. To win the title. Orange Cassidy defeated B Cool in a match that I heard was absolutely fucking ridiculous. The Guerrillas of Destiny defeated Kings of the North. More Than Hype defeated the Grizzled Young Veterans to basically retain their number one contendership. And then we mentioned Starr versus Devlin. So why don't you give us, I know we're pressed for time a little bit today. What was your top three matches that aren't Starr and Devlin? What were your top three matches?
Opening, 3-on-3 match. I don't know what it is, but Omari seems reinvigorated, with his work in OTT.
Return to form, some would say.
Cara Noir is sensational no matter what, and the OJMO doing OJMO things. But on the other side of things, because it was meant to be Killer Cross, but travel schedules, so Trent filled in on that situation. And Speedball is sensational. But Callum Black, making his stadium debut for OTT, he's genuinely been made a star in that match. He's been one of the top contenders recently. He's had great matches against Scotty Davis, Jordan Devlin, and now I genuinely think it's his time to just be on the rise. Also, I will never get out of my head the visual of Trent Seven telling him to be Tyler to do the clothesline into the Snapdragon spot.
Oh, cool. Well, what other two matches would you rate that aren't the main event?
Do I even need to say that the ladder match is brilliantly bonkers?
Of course, Ireland. You've not even said Ireland in this yet, so...
Oh, no, genuinely... Well, that's a caveat that we kind of expected, but I'll put it in anyway. Ireland! Genuinely, Scotty Davis and LJ Cleary, you can definitely see why these two are the future of Irish wrestling.
And I'm imagining, was your third one B Cool against Orange Cassidy?
Definitely.
What did B Cool say?
Oh, no, before the match even began, there was a VT filmed pre the show where he was handing out signs to the people in the front of the line for the stadium, which basically were supporting him. And then before the match came out, before he made his entrance, he basically wanted everyone to give him a massive pop. But the phrase he used was, "I want you to pretend like I'm Hulk Hogan before he was a racist." Which is the greatest phrase that I've ever heard, and I want that on my tombstone whenever I pass.
Pop for me like I'm Hulk Hogan before I was a racist. I know Mike's one's going to be pop for me before I'm I'm Pud Nelson.
No, also it's just really
but not my Jewish fan.
Also, main event bonkers, as we've said. Don't know where they're going from here because Outer Space Odyssey is happening. David Starr might possibly get his first title defense there. Don't know yet. Maybe they'll build someone up to be a number one contender. But other than that, it was just really cool. And I also saw some friends on the card who were also ring crewing, but also doing little bits on the card, which was very refreshing.
OTT is on my to-do list. It's something I really want to do. That and North are my two next to-do ones when it comes to shows.
I'm planning on a massive summer extravaganza with a lot of people right now, so if you want in, buy in.
Is that to all the listeners as well?
Yeah, let's just all go. Let's just celebrate my unbirthday to Alice in Wonderland this shit in Ireland.
Subscribe to Carl's OnlyFans to get involved with this.
No, remember, I'm stealing Austin Aries' GoFundMe.
Oh, fair enough. New Japan Pro Wrestling Power Struggle. Mike is next Monday. Sunday. Damn, one day off.
Sunday.
At the Springfield Speedway. The card so far has been announced. Please tell me if I've made any mistakes or I've missed any matches. So far, you've got the Intercontinental title as Jay White defends against Hiroki Goto. The Never Openweight Championship as Kenta defends against Tomohiro Ishii. Tetsuya Naito against Taichi in that special challenge match. Okada and Yoshihashi against Kota Ibushi and Hiroshi Tanahashi, of course, because neither of them can defend their right to challenge and their belt leading up to Wrestle Kingdom, and the finals of the Super Junior Tag League. I imagine there'll be the usual spate of 6-man and multi-man matches beforehand, but those are the kind of the 5 big matches on Power Struggle.
I would imagine we'll probably see Lance Archer's first US title defense as well.
That'll do. Of course, everybody
Maybe
does.
Dave Finlay.
Junior Tag League has been bubbling along nicely. We're coming up towards the final few days of it at the moment. It's basically El Phantasmo and Taiji Ishimori top of the tree, with Taguchi and Rocky Romero, the Birds of Prey, and Suzuki-gun chasing them all on 8, alongside Roppongi 3K as well.
Roppongi 3K, yeah.
They're on 8.
So there's two sets of matches left, so this could be very interesting, but I think they're going to end up with Ospreay and Eagles versus El Phantasmo and Ishimori on night 1 at the Dome. I think that'll be the match. Makes
sense. Feel bad for Tiger Mask and Yamura and TJP and Clark Connors, both on Goose Egg. Goose Egg.
Them young lions.
That young lion, Tiger Mask.
I meant you and Mura, Clark Connors. Clacky Connors.
Do you want to mention the action figures quickly?
Yeah, so Super 7, they're a figure company. They have got the contract for the New Japan figures, so there was some artwork.
Sorry to interrupt. Is this international or just Japan?
This is going to be international because Super 7 are a US company.
Okay, cool.
So yeah, if you get onto Twitter or anything and just search like New Japan,
we'll put one.
The artwork.
Send me the Twitter link. We'll put it in the podcast post.
Cool. But yeah, so the first 4 have been revealed, which are Kazuchika Okada, Tomohiro Ishii, Hiroshi Tanahashi, and Will Ospreay. All of them come with exchangeable heads, hands, an extra item, and they all come with belts as well that they've held over the years, which is pretty cool.
Ospreay comes with the Best of Super Junior trophy, doesn't he? So
yeah. Okada comes with Bucks. It's listed as
Matt and Nick
or Bucks. Yeah, exactly. Weird. They weren't even in the same group together or anything, were they?
No.
And also today, Storm Collectibles put up the special edition Jushin Thunder Liger figure. That looks absolutely fantastic.
Which Mike will sell his body.
Excited.
He will set up an OnlyFans to buy it.
I've already pre-ordered it.
Oh, you have already?
I have pre-ordered it, yeah. It's going to be incredibly high quality. It looks fantastic from the images that are out.
Have you bought 2? So one you can have unboxed and the one you can play with.
I was very close to doing so, but it's not the cheapest.
If you did, you could have done. I could have bought 2 Will Ospreays, and then we could have had one for show. And then when we hang out a show, we can just sit in the front row playing with our figures.
There's still a chance that I might buy it. I might buy another one.
Then we had 2 little bits of housekeeping that we kind of missed last week. Apologies, because Mike had a go at me all weekend. He's like, we had 3 opportunities to bring this up on 2 different podcasts.
It was more like, shit, we fucking missed this, and it's kind of big.
Kenny Omega won the AAA Mega title from Ray Phoenix last week.
So that'll be interesting to see if we see that on AEW.
I'm wondering whether it ends up becoming a title defense at Full Gear. We'll see. But we'll talk. You can talk more about. Well, they'll be talking about that more in depth as we head towards Full Gear on the Wednesday Night War, on the Thursday night here on TWM Podcast. Southside also had their final show that was laden with All Elite Wrestling talent, thanks to them helping out after WWE pulled all their talent out. And MJF got knocked out by Anthony Ogogo, who now is a part of AEW, which is random.
He is All Elite.
The Southside tag title is going to be defended on the next Cockpit show, so they are going to... It's weird, it's like post-invasion, you know when they used to defend the WCW title on Raw, and it was called like the World title. They're now having like Southside tag title defenses on Cockpit shows until they unify the belts.
It just doesn't make sense. So it's like, why not just get them unified straight away?
Imagine they're waiting for the next big pupper, if you will. Also, like, what's the point in having the... Just give the belts to the Great O'Khan. You might as...
It's what's going to happen.
Finally, before we wrap things up, this weekend is Fear and Loathing at SWG3 in Glasgow. They're doing a 2-dayer again, the Scottish Wrestle Kingdom. if you will. I'm not gonna lie, because I've kind of fallen out a little bit with ICW. I don't really watch it as much as I used to. In the days of Drew McIntyre and Grado and Renfrew and stuff, I fell out. And let's not lie, it came a little bit of a developmental league. They just had a lot of just young guys. But I will say the two cards, and let's be honest here, they've not really had the best 2019. Not in regards of booking, I mean in regards of like dealing with personal tragedy. Lionheart happened this year, and I feel like we've all kind of put that in the back of our mind that happened.
Wow, that was like 3 months. That was like 3 months ago, wasn't it?
Yeah, and we've like
crazy. Everyone
forgets that happened this year, and they've done very well to kind of build up to this show, and yeah, just build a really, really good card. So you've got the 2 days. We'll go through the first day. You've got Kaylee Ray and Viper going up against Angel Hayes, who's been doing I think she's a GPWA graduate, and Zaya Brookside. Aaron Echo, who's always been a personal favourite of mine in ICW, going up against Alexander Dean. A Scheme Lumberjack match, which is Grado against Ravy Davey, which is basically a lumberjack match with a bunch of what do Scottish people call chavs? Is it Neds?
Neds.
Yeah, a bunch of Neds. I don't know whether that's offensive or not. Anyway,
Ned or Jakey. Jakey's like a
around the outside, so that'll be quite interesting. You've got the Kinky Pinky Party, which is Jack Jester, Shah Samuels, and Noam Dar against the Kings of the North, Bonesaw, Damian Corvin, and Adam Maxted. Carl, you know about the Kings of the North.
I do know about the Kings of the North.
So is one of them injured? Is that why Maxted's filled in?
No, Duncan Disorderly has stepped away from wrestling, so Adam Maxted is filling in as the Prince of the North, but like they're not going to build him as that, so he's the third king.
Okay, cool. BT Gunn versus Sami Callihan, which I'm very intrigued about seeing. That match could absolutely bang.
That could open a lot of people's eyes to BT Gunn.
Yeah, like he's one of the best kept secrets in Brit Rest still. I love BT Gunn. Kenny Williams against Jordan Devlin in a match that is just going to fill Kyle's heart with joy.
That is genuinely my kind of graps.
My kind of graps, a Glasgow street fight between Kid Fight and Paul Robinson. That could end in murder.
Yeah, that could end up on Sucky Old Street with Kid Fight's brains somewhere on the floor.
And now something completely different. Good Housekeeping 3, where the ICW 0G title and Liam Thompson's sink is on the line.
It's a questionable to put up that is Liam Thompson's sink actually the most valuable sort of like accolade in wrestling at the moment.
It's the most. It's up there with Okada's IWGP title when he had that mega run. I just love when they introduce him, because coming to the ring, he is the owner of that particular sink. It kills me. If you've not seen the Good Housekeeping, I do think they've got one of them up in full on YouTube, and it is, pardon the pun, insanity. So go and check it out. Day 2 sees Yestin Reese against Scotty Davis. Kyle, that actually sounds like a really, really interesting match between those two.
Yeah, genuinely. I think a lot of people still don't realise how good Yestin Reese is. At the fundamentals of wrestling, he's very much good at that. I've seen him a lot over the year, and genuinely, I feel like he's been taken for granted as a wrestler. And Scotty Davis, who's all about the mat wrestling, will be a great adversary for him. So I expect a lot of suplexing, a lot of throwing, and a lot of me being damp for how good the match will be.
A lot of kissing. ICW Tag Team Championships #1 contendership match as the Fight Network, Liu King Sharp and Krieger go up against the 9-9. My personal favourite, Dickie Divers. That's not sarcastic at all. Against Jack Morris. That's only because one time I went to go see ICW in London, it was a 6-man tag, and I just kept yelling, this is pointless because Dickie Divers is just going to take the pin. We know who's losing. And then who took the pin? Dickie Divers. A match that should absolutely bang. Andy Wild versus Mark Coffey in a 2 out of 3 falls contest. I'm very, very intrigued about that one. Got Ilya Dragoff against Kez Evans. Kez Evans has been doing a lot of bits in ICW over the last year or so. Noam Dar against Kieran Kelly against Leighton Buzzard. I really hope Leighton Buzzard wins, because Leighton Buzzard has been generally one of the MVPs of ICW in the stuff I'm watching online.
Match when you look at it logistically as well. It's like the great young talent of ICW's past against two of the greatest of ICW's future.
Then we got a Kings of Insanity match, which is the Purge, Crowbar, and Stevie James against probably the most underrated tag team in Europe right now in the Kings of Catch, Aspen Safe and Lewis Gervin. I've been banging the drum for Lewis Gervin for years, saying that how he's not bigger than he already is a crime against wrestling, because he's tremendous. This match should be fantastic. ICW Women's World Title match, a last chance, is Casey faces Evil, or Evil, I forget how you say her name. Evil, thank you. And then we got the main event, which is my boy, Stevie Boy, the ICW World Heavyweight Champion, defended against Joe Coffey. Now, there's been this whole thing, they did this whole work shoot thing at that ICW Gonzo taping where Coffey got supposedly fired from ICW, and then they said that there was a scuffle and Stevie Boy re-injured his knee, so the match was going to be off. And then Red Lightning had his Square Go briefcase from the start of the year. I watched the highlights of this on YouTube, and it's brilliant just for Billy Kirkwood, because spoilers, Stevie Boy ends up beating him, and it's just Billy Kirkwood going, Rudo's fucked it, he's fucked it. Which is a great way of describing someone fucking up their briefcase. Imagine Michael Cole shouting out when Baron Corbin lost his match against Jinder Mahal.
We can only hope he would have done it.
And Corbin's fucked it. But now the match is back on between Stevie Boy and Joe Coffey. Should be really, really good. That's this weekend. I'm going to try and watch it, hopefully, as soon as possible. So we'll probably do results next week, and if I don't get a chance to watch it, or one of us don't get a chance to watch it before then, we will talk about it as and when we can. And that wraps up this week's Indie Wrestling Show. If you want to get in touch with us, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram at TWM Wrestle. At the time this comes out, I think the AEW Dynamite competition will be donezo. But, as we said, there'll be a chance to not only win a fight pass for Saturday Night Superfight sometime leading up to Saturday. We've also got some other stuff in association with other friends at Fight TV going out on our social media, so keep an eye out for that one. Subscribe to us on Apple and Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Podbean, Acast, TuneIn, YouTube, all that good stuff. Leave a rating and review. Tell everyone how great we are. Share it around. Tell your friends. We're brilliant. TWM.news, you can go and read reviews for Tap Pro Wrestling's Goosebumps from Rhys. You can go read Chapter 97 review from Day Owen. We've got loads of stuff going up all the time over there as well. Let's wrap things up with our social medias. Kyle.
No, I'm not giving mine. I'm going to give a shout out to a Manine. Don't know why that rhymed, but yeah, I rave about Irish wrestling. Follow this Irish wrestling up and comer at Danny X Cross on Twitter.
There we go. Rhys.
At Real Nick Aldis.
Do you work for Kamikaze Pro by any chance? Michael?
At the real account. No, I'm joking. Just go follow Cara Noir on Twitter and just tell him he's far better than Nick Aldis.
I'll show a funny one now. I haven't got one anymore. You know what? In loving memory, I am at If You See Seb. May it rest in peace.
R.I.P. Drop an F in the chat for him.
Yeah, I'm doing it now. Just drop in all the Fs, even though I've just typed F on Taichi's name 4 times. Now his name is Taichi. This has been the Indie Wrestling Show. Go support your local wrestling, and we will all be back next Wednesday.